What if I told you that Russia is being hit by a mind virus? And I'm not talking about medicine. I'm talking about propaganda engineered for control, built to spread fast, bypass skepticism and critical thinking, and make people resistant to facts. And the most dangerous part? The state isn't trying to reduce it. Instead, it's optimizing it. Let me show you how this narrative is built, how it spreads, and why right now the system is winning. And the question is, can it be stopped? Howdy, friends. My name is Konstantin, and welcome to Inside Russia, where usual Russian where the usual Russia is explained by the unusual Russian, where the unusual Russian explains Russia. I am Russian by birth, analyst by choice. I lived it, I studied, and I reported. I make Russia make sense. You will not find any BS, propaganda, or lies here. Instead, you'll find truth, common sense, and logic. And plenty of emotions too, because I'm living through the tragedy of my country's demise. Now, today, I don't give you numbers, figures, and facts about Russian economy, about Russian life. I share my thoughts on the most dangerous thing that Russia has ever seen since the start of the war with Ukraine. Now, we live in the world of ideas. Ideas move people. Ideas make people do great things and terrible things. Ideas build countries and destroy them. Literally. And I have something very uncomfortable to you. Ideas, they just don't appear out of the blue. In the modern world, they are engineered, packaged, and distributed. Ideas have become a product, and we all consume that product constantly, 24/7. All of us, without any exceptions. And sometimes ideas are even made into a weapon. Well, that's what I'm talking about today. I just give you an example. I give you two ideas to compare. The first idea is the idea of fair elections, freedom, self-governance, rule of law, courts that actually work and are actually fair, a leader who can be voted out, power where power is temporary, accountable, and limited. And that is the USA, or at least what it used to be the USA. This idea is of equal opportunities and pursuit of happiness has attracted hundreds of millions of people from around the globe and empowered them enough to actually take actions and move to the USA to seek better lives. And there's another idea for you. Sacrifice now, so our children will live in communism. That second idea, sacrifice today, so our children will live in communism tomorrow, is that suffering has meaning. Poverty is temporary. Fear is patriotic. You endure today, and history will reward you tomorrow. Giving your life for the motherland for some reasons, if motherland decides that it is needed to sacrifice your life, is the highest honor. And the idea promised a bright future. And it demanded one thing in exchange: obedience in the present. I know both ideas quite well. I lived them both. The first idea is much better than the second one. I was born and raised in the USSR and indoctrinated into communism tomorrow idea at early age. Let me tell you, they did a lousy job indoctrinating me, because I'm sitting right now and telling you the truth. And if they did a good job back then, 40 years ago, the idea was for me not to sit and or sit and telling you different kind of things, okay, not truth. So those guys were amateurs, on me at least. And then I moved to the USA at the age of 20, and I lived in democracy. I lived the democracy idea, and I loved it. So I have something to compare, and I have experienced how the ideas work on my life. Now, this message is about Russia, if you haven't noticed yet. And what I will tell you today is pretty darn dark of an idea. Russian government has finally invented the idea of Russia's demise that actually works, that explains Russia's demise. The new Russia's big patriotic national idea has been born. And it's not for the public out there to openly see and embrace it. Oh, no, no, no. It's still being hidden behind the curtains. But it's here. The Russian state has started the conditioning of people's minds. I hear it, I see it, I sense it, I smell it, and I want to share it with you. And I find it very tragic because it's working. It's already working. It's not out there in the public. It's not that like entire propaganda is pushing this narrative into people's mind. It's already working despite that. Now, give me 90 seconds and I will quickly refresh your memory of the stages of Russian state inventing new national idea thrice. Something to sell to Russian people to justify what Putin and his servant have done to Russia and continue doing to Russia. Now, I'll try to be very, very quick. Before the war, Russia lacking the national idea, the essence for being, for the people. Building communism as an idea, as the idea, died along with the USSR in 1991, and nothing new was ever born. When Russia attacked Ukraine and failed in the first days, the propaganda was frantically trying to create the new national idea. But I had insights from the Kremlin, and I know how hard they tried. They created, they were storming this idea. They created think tanks, 2 of them, and they couldn't come up with anything that would explain what Russia was doing to Ukraine. The idea was so atrocious to Russian people. In September 2022, the propaganda started pushing the narrative of the war that was not with Ukraine, but with the West. So this first attempt of the idea was born, or first try, so to speak. So they were saying it's not the Ukraine, it's not about Ukraine, it's about the West, where Ukraine is just a tool, a proxy, as they said in Russia. Then in 2023, the narrative changed to Russia is using this war to circumvent all international sanctions and become stronger. And it started with Vladimir Putin speaking to the nation in February of 2024. And I call it, February 2023. And I call it the grand sugarcoating. It lasted until Putin was made the president for the 5th time the following year in May. And in the summer of 2024, that summer, the narrative changed again. From all is well, Russian economy is circumventing the sanctions, we're doing strong, everything is going according to the plan, we're winning in Ukraine, the victory is just around the corner. It became Trump will come and save us and bring peace to Ukraine. Then Trump came 9 months later, but he couldn't save Russia. Instead, he started appeasing Russia. It started in February of 2025. And in the spring of 2025, the narrative changed again. From Trump will come and save us, the idea changed into we have won. Russia is victor in Ukraine, and the great global power again rejoice. Russian people, be proud. And that narrative lasted until November 2025, so we're getting closer to now. And in November, well, I think it changed. I can't pinpoint to November, but that changed around fall of 2025. Everything went to hell. Russian economy started landsliding. It had been predicted by me, other economists. We had predicted it for a long time. And the moment finally came. Russia, Putin ran out of money, and in the fall, boy, I constantly monitor the situation, and every Wednesday I make economic weekly review of Russia, and it's coming day after tomorrow, so please come check it out. I don't have words to actually explain of economic catastrophe happening in Russia right now, but please come and check it out. You'll see for yourself. And I'll give you the facts, numbers, figures, and the proof. I'll give you the sources too. So Russian economy started landsliding, and peace didn't come. Trump didn't save Russia. And what is the victory in Ukraine? What is the victory in the world when your economy is in ruins, right? Donald Trump instead started hitting Russia with the sanctions that actually started working, and Russia started falling apart. I mean, it's hard to convince people of their country greatness when millions are left without electricity and heat, as they are right now. Millions are laid off, and people can have hard time affording food these days. We are victorious narrative stopped working. And the new narrative, the new national idea was born. Oh boy. Before we jump there, if you're enjoying this so far, please hit the like button and subscribe. So that helps this message to be discovered by many more people. And one more thing, I am asking you to leave in the comment section, to leave a comment saying where you are watching this video at right now. This is something that gives me pleasure to read through comments and imagine the virtual map of inside Russia with so many places where you are at right now. The feedback that I receive from in the comments also from other viewers is also fantastic. It's not just me, it's others watching as well. So please let us know where you're watching this from right now. And if you would like to buy me coffee, I wouldn't mind. I drink coffee in the morning, and for the rest of the day, I drink English breakfast tea. Cheers. So thank you, friends. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now, back to the message. The new national idea of Russia is the state is in holy war, forever war with its enemies. Russia is in the state of holy forever war with its enemies. The holy war has no beginning and has no end. It started long before the start of the war with Ukraine and will not stop when peace with Ukraine is finally achieved. The war is ongoing, and people have one role in this war: to protect the motherland. Anything needed must be given uncomplainingly. Freedoms, well-being, lives, businesses, you name it. Well, what do you do when you declare a short takeover of another country, that ends up in disaster and turns into a full-blown war. What do you do when you ruin your thriving economy because of that war? What do you do when you impoverish your people and lower their living standard to the point where they start suffering? What do you do when you soil your pants in front of your own citizens and in front of the entire world? Well, obviously you declare everlasting holy war against the enemies that surround you. You turn defeat into doctrine. When this quick takeover collapses and changes into lasting grinding war, the regime's core problem is not military any longer. It is legitimacy. And that's what I've said for 3 years now, almost 4 years. Legitimacy. What will Putin do when the war is over? How he's going to answer the questions? Will he be held responsible? The story is sold. The story is things are efficient, country is strong, country is in control, everything is going according to the plan. But you know what? This sold story gets disapproved by reality. When you open your fridge and look what's inside, it's really hard to believe that everything goes according to the plan. Or you start asking who created the plan, okay? When you see casualties, sanctions, shortages, high prices, budget deficit of incredible record, when you see fear, when you see your secret police going wild, it's really, the story kind of collapses. It's not victory any longer. So the story now has to change, morph into something that can be falsified by facts in the future. Now, this is Soviet playbook, okay? It's exactly why this everlasting, forever holy war is such a useful propaganda product. I don't think that the current Russians in charge of propaganda, I don't think they invented it. I think they dusted off old playbook and fed it into ChatGPT or something like that, and then got the answer. Now, what do you do? What do you do to continue hanging to your power? Well, you rebrand failure as destiny. If the goal was to take Kiev in 2 weeks or 3 days, it can be judged and mocked and laughed at. But if the goal becomes sacred and infinite, it's holy struggle, it's defending against the enemies. This goal, this battle can never be lost. It only can be continued. Now, the next thing they do is they replace performance with purity. Thriving economy and rising living standards are measurable. Spiritual greatness, Russian world, civilizational mission, historical revenge, righting the wrong, protecting the faith, this is something that cannot be measured. The next thing they do is they turn hardship into a loyalty test. Poverty, no, it's not poverty, it's sacrifice. Complaining, wait a second. Those who complain, they become traitors. Complaints, that's betrayal. The worse life gets, the more citizens are pressured to prove they're not traitors. How do they do that? Well, we'll understand. Next, they create enemies to explain everything. The regime can't admit it destroyed prosperity. Putin cannot be guilty of anything. Putin is the king's son and he shines. That's all he does. So it is... How do I say that? Blame. They make this blame on others. We are surrounded. They want to destroy us. Internal enemies, the traitors inside Russia, sabotage us. And the enemies outside Russia, American Satanists, Europeans, no good bombs, and perhaps Martians, whatever, the aliens, they want to take our sovereignty. When you watch Putin speak and his clique speak, you watch for this word, sovereignty, losing sovereignty, okay? That's a marker. Next thing they do is they make the war their identity. Once the state merges itself with the war, ending the war becomes politically impossible. You cannot end the state, and the state is Putin. You cannot end Putin because this is just war, Putin, and the state is one. Peace would force a reckoning. Perpetual conflict postpones accountability, well, delays it indefinitely. This is what's happening in Russia. How do I see it? Well, first of all, this is just me. I have not read about it. I have not seen anyone else speak about that. This is my analysis. I have seen things happen recently. Big holidays in Russia brought a lot of food for thought, and people who went to Russia for the holidays, and yeah, there are quite some people who reside here in Uzbekistan. They go back and forth because they still have families there, and they're at low political risk to be arrested, unlike me. So they go and visit their parents, grandparents, family. Sometimes some go often, some not, but many go for New Year holidays. Now, many people came back and brought many stories. And I was sitting at the Tashkent Breakfast Club on Saturday. After the live stream, I do live streams just for patrons at Patreon. When I give peek into the lives of Russians and Ukrainians living in exile here in Uzbekistan. So right after that, the breakfast, after the live stream, it kind of hit me like a bolt of lightning after I got everything together. The big picture and the trends started to emerge. Now, what's happening in Russia? There are two big trends. First trend is, and again, you will not find it anywhere. In the future, in a couple of weeks, people will watch this and we'll start talking about that. But this is exclusive, and this is, Inside Russia is the only source now. There's a boundary between death and life in general, and it's being erased right now. And this is being very seen in Russia. And the second trend is freezing time. Let me explain what I see. Now, for the first time in my life, and it was very surprising, shocking to me, I saw that Russian propaganda, the Первый канал, Canal 1, the Channel 1, and other medias, they started bringing the entertainment that mixes the alive and the dead. How is this possible? Well, now there's a cultural tradition in Russia for the New Year holidays to celebrate watching a lot of, TV shows. And they're always exclusive and always genuine. They never repeat. A lot of money is spent by Russian propaganda to create extravaganzas. Okay, anyone who's been to Russia knows that, and anyone who studies Russia knows that. So you watch what happens on January 1st, December 31st. It's extravaganza of different shows and very expensive, very, very well made. This year was completely different. The most important show of the year, the Blue Light, Голубой огонек, was a potpourri of performances starting from in a period of time from 1991 to 2024. There was nothing original. There was nothing new. They just took performers and they did small reruns of their songs, okay? And some of them died a long time ago. Some of them, not with us any longer. And I was very surprised to see that. But they started to show in everyone as if they sang it right then on January 1st and as if everyone was alive. Everyone was, So it's a very strange mix of the dead and the alive, okay? And then it started spreading further. Right now, if you go to different cities, for example, city of Samara, you will see a showcase of heroes, the Alley of Heroes. There's an embankment in Samara, and there's a bunch of different billboards showcasing the heroes of the war. But it's not just the war with Ukraine. They show the heroes of World War II, and they even go further in history, and they mix everyone as if it all is happening now. They erase the boundaries between time. And at this point, it's becoming... This is not happening just in Samara. Samara is just a showcase. Someone came from Samara and told me about it and said, look, it's really strange because when you walk on the embankment and you see that, you don't understand what's going on. You get confused. And that came from the guy who lives in Uzbekistan. Okay, he knows what's going on, but even him, it was confusing. And for the ones who live in Russia, between those who fought and died in Afghanistan and lived through Afghanistan, through Chechnya, First Chechen War, Second Chechen War, the Georgian War, World War II, and some World War I, that's very confusing. Okay, you start losing the touch of reality. And then I started investigating. And this is a federal project in every single city. There's some kind of alley, some kind of showcase, some kind of billboards that show heroes. Well, some are so-called heroes and some are real heroes from World War II defending Russia, Soviet Union. So they're mixing the dead and alive. So that confuses people. And the second trend is they are freezing time. Russia does not live in the future any longer. There is no future. No one talks about the future. Instead, they take a lot of performances, movies, pieces of art from the old times, from the USSR mostly, and they do remakes. They remake movies, they remake songs, they remake concerts, and remakes and children cartoons and remakes of children cartoons. They fill Russian media space. And these remakes are made sometimes in, current time, and sometimes they remake in the past time, And that's pretty much all you can see in Russia right now. If you turn on Russian TV or Russian Netflix platforms, So erasing the boundaries between the dead and the alive, and erasing the boundaries between the future and the past. Putin wants to live for a very long time. Putin has stated that he's aiming at 150 years when he was visiting China in September. He clearly stated it. And he wants to live in this world today. All narratives lead to this is it. This is Russia today, and it will not change. It is frozen in time. Change is bad. Change is dangerous. Change is foreign. Change comes from the enemies. Us Russians, we don't need change. We need stability. We need assurance from the state. We need the state to be strong. We need the state to protect everyone. And this is it. Nothing else. All the previous, all the past narratives, all the past attempts at ideas were temporary because they were situational. Donald Trump will come and save us. That's situational. Everything is great in Russia. Economy is doing fantastic. That's situational because we all knew back then that everything was not great. That Donald Trump was not going to save Russia. Things like that. So all situational. But this new national idea, this one is very solid. It is here to stay. This idea is so dangerously strong and stable is because it doesn't have to be true. It only needs to be powerful enough to organize society around it. It needs to answer 3 questions for Russians, for millions of Russians. First is, who are we? Second, who are our enemies? And third, what are we suffering for? Because if you control the story, you control what people accept as normal. And you know what? The reason I actually made a decision to make this live stream and to share it with you is because Russians have accepted this new national idea. They have accepted the idea that when you make sacrifice, it's noble. When you start fearing, it's patriotic. When you live in permanent emergency, it feels like you live. This is your destiny. That gives people answer. This ideology is solid. The reason I'm telling it to you right now is because I am seeing the flood, the avalanche of Russians accepting this idea. Before, I told you that they did not accept the war. They thought war is far away somewhere in Ukraine, it didn't concern them. It was happening to other people, and it was temporary. Now, they have accepted the war. They have accepted that this is new normal. They have accepted it is for a long time here to stay. And this is just the beginning of this new propaganda, not even narrative. It's propaganda's ideology now. This is new Russian ideology. They haven't even started using heavy artillery. They just started conditioning people through secondary things. Wait until Putin comes out and speaks about that. Wait when all politicians of all ranks pick it up and start pushing in there. Wait until Solovyov and the likes will start and will come out and start giving it at different angles. This is when most Russians will be sold. This is scary. This is not good. This ideology is very solid, and it's here to stay. They have finally come up with something that they have been able to successfully sell to Russian people. I feel Russia is changing very fast, and I feel we're not seeing the end of it. I'm afraid we're just seeing the beginning. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for being with me, giving me your precious time. I would like to tell you about this live stream today is divided into three parts. The first part is the message, it's over, but don't sign off yet because we're going into the live stream chat another half an hour. I will try to answer all the questions that you throw at me, as many as I can at least. And I enjoy this part because this is the community of Inside Russia. And now, in a couple of seconds, it's going to come alive. In the third part, the final part, I will invite everyone to finish the live stream with a prayer. So thank you very much, friends. We have 1,900 people watching right now. And while I am turning the live stream chat on right now, I am reminding you that there will be many news coming out of Russia. And if you want to stay on top of things, consider signing up for Patreon account of Inside Russia. To become Patreon of Inside Russia, you will have access to Formula 54, 9 news a day that I find significant. I make available to patrons along with my commentaries and analysis. So if you want to stay on top of things Russia and you want to see new ideology develop, please become Patreon and you'll have access. And now I am live, ready to answer your questions. Thank you, friends, for coming. Give me a couple seconds to set everything up here. Ooh, wait a second. I see the live stream chat is full with the usual suspects and the mods are here. I feel empowered and safe when Lorna, Mammy K, Bob S, Harry Partner, and Amir Fazad here. If you're here for the first time, Inside Russia is the best community online because the mods, thank you. You know, I don't even know how other people survive on YouTube because it's very lonely when it's you, a microphone, and the camera. Okay? But this isn't the case for me because every time I hit that button and I see live stream chat starts going down with comments and I see that mods are here and the usual suspects are here, warms my heart. Thank you, friends. Thank you very much. Let me know what you think. Please give a shout out to the mods, the fantastic people. If any one of you has a birthday, I will sing. I'm the most terrible singer in the world, but you know what? I tried to bring some humor into this live stream. So topics are very serious and sad. So let's have some lighthearted. If your birthday or you know someone's birthday, then I will sing. Let me know. And the rules are very simple: respect each other, do not insult anyone, and no discussion of U.S. politics. I know there's a mess going on right now. Please refrain from talking about that. My heart is bleeding for American people, for America, for those who have been, well, I don't. Anyway, but please, this is not the place to discuss it. Mods know and they will warn you. Please, show me respect. Do not discuss what's happening in different states of the USA and in the northern states. Okay? Thank you. And I'm ready. I am ready, Freddy. Mammy K, Lorna, Harry Partner, Bob S, and Amir Fazad. Thank you very much for coming, friends. I love you. Now, the usual suspects: Jodes, Leitmotiv, Lectris, long time no see, Stefan, Renate. We keep on praying for you. Howdy. Pavel Veselsky, hello. Tracy, KRE, very bad with names. Jukst, howdy. Woody, Alu, Chess Shark from Helsinki, Finland. Bogdan, Test Software, howdy, long time no see. Bogdan, Roy Cousins, good to see you. It's so good to see people who keep on coming back. It's like being among friends. Thank you. Chris Fox, Mr. Steinhofer, Guten Abend, XS Schweitzer. I take it you're from Switzerland, right? Finally, stream I caught live. Hello from, well, your name speaks volume. Thank you very much. Now, of today's message, friends, take your pencils out and write everything down, because this is one of my most important messages. Not too many people watched it today, but you know what? I find it absolutely. I think this needs to be studied. It's current. Okay, it's happening right now. And it's like Titanic. When you turn the wheel in Titanic, after a while, it starts slowly turning. Russia has started turning. Okay, we are seeing it turning right now. They're erasing the boundaries, making this holy war stuff, and they're freezing everyone in time. The entire country. That's what they're doing. Question I just saw. Jeremy Taylor. Will potential coup in China affect Russia? A coup in China would affect Russia tremendously. It would affect everyone, and Russia probably most affected. But you know what? Let's wait and see until coup actually happens, or it doesn't happen. Okay, so it's just, what are we talking about here? The last thing, if you want me to see your message or comment easier, please put it in all caps and put Inside Russia after @ so my name, my channel's name, so I see your comment easy. It's highlighted in orange. So thank you. And if I miss your message, it doesn't mean I ignore you. Just keep on posting. Sooner or later, I'll get to you. Bogdan, just like what Bogdan did from Romania. Thank you so much. So I'll be looking for the messages all in all caps and in highlighted in orange, just like John McLean did. McLean. Is this new approach of making Russia stagnate similar to what Brezhnev did in the USSR? Yes, I think so. Although Brezhnev did not do it on purpose, it's just the USSR was lacking a lot of things back then. And I think that the current leadership, or I don't know how to call these people, leadership is too much honor for them, okay? The current people, they are making it on purpose. Yeah, of course, John, I see that you know your Russian stuff. It's called Epocha Zastoya, the epoch of the steel. And that's the Brezhnev times. Well, let me tell you something. That epoch of the steel has brought Soviet Union to its knees economically. Okay, that's what happened during Brezhnev times. Ruben Mifsad, watching from Malta. I wish I was there. Malta is one of the places I gladly would come to and live. But unfortunately. Provo, Utah. I love you back. Thank you very much. Shiva, long time no see from Belgium. Billy Bob Joe, howdy. English only. Thank you, Bob, for reminding everyone. It's not that we, don't tolerate other languages, but if you write something in language other than English, then mods don't know what you're saying. You could be a troll. That's why there's a strict rule, English only. I myself speak Russian. I understand Ukrainian. I understand a little bit of French, a little bit of Spanish. So I'm fine with other languages, okay? But you heard the reason. Billy Bob Joe, you're the best. Billy Bob, you are the best. Thank you for coming, and this is my honor to host you. Bad Cat, whoa, greetings from Central Maine, where Father Winter has just dropped 17 inches and a couple more on the way. You would feel right at home. Well, I didn't live in central Maine, but I spent 9 winters in southern Maine. And let me tell you that it's not much of a difference between central and southern when it comes to Maine in terms of snowfall. Well, you get more on the coast, but a little more. But trust me, I've seen 17 inches quite a few times. And then I know what it is to get outside and shovel your car out. And then you get out and you don't even see your car sometimes. It's covered with, like, leveled with snow. So my home away from home. Well, unfortunately, I'm banned from the USA for the time being. And it's unbelievable. Lorna's being smart again. No US politics includes you inside Russia. Well, I have one get out of jail ticket, just one. Is Putin in a bunker? Anya, I think he is. Well, I don't know, but I think he is. Let's put it this way. If I were Putin, I'd be in the bunker and I'd be digging much deeper right now. Is there a space with a space in between inside and Russia? Yes, please. Bob, I second you. Like, subscribe, and comment and share. And please, everyone, if you don't mind, can you please share this message in your social media accounts? That helps a lot. And I just feel like this message is very important. And boy, use us as example. Don't let that happen to your countries, because it can happen so fast. You just blink of an eye and you wake up in Russia, okay? And you look around and you say, how the hell did we get here? That's exactly what happened to me. Be careful Simon Cowell doesn't sign you up, Kay, with that fantastic voice. Yeah, that guy says, yeah, Simon. Yeah, I remember him from 25 years ago. There was a show called Voice, right? And I know America's singer, America's Talent, something like that. Yeah, I remember that guy. Chris Fox, you sang Happy Birthday to me last year. Well, I'm ready to sing it again. Dale, good to see you. When a society believes and accepts that all their problems are because of an enemy and follows that idea, is there anything other than total collapse that can correct it? Dale, I'm not even gonna try to answer this question. I don't know. I'm thinking on it myself. And one thing I can tell you is that it all starts with us, not with a society, but us personally, each one of us. There are some people who believe that their problems, not because they're lazy, not because they didn't go to school, not because they made wrong choices, not because they were abused, when they were children, but it's because other people envy them, hate them, and somehow want to destroy them. I've seen people like that in Russia so many times. I am not one of them. Thank goodness. Thank to my mom and dad. And it all starts here. If we all understand the truth, if we all understand that our destiny, our life, our fate is in our hands, okay, that we create our lives in any way that we want it, we build it, then there's no sense of blaming others for anything, right? And Russians don't feel that they are in control. They feel like they're completely under the state. And that's why it's so easy. You gotta blame someone. You can't blame yourself on your problems in Russia. It's too hard. It's too it hurts, you know. When I realized Russia actually did started striking Ukraine, my heart started bleeding. And a lot of you remember those early days of the war, what I was going through. Okay? And it hurt. It still hurts. It hurt much more back then. And Russians, many people, they just don't want to go through that feeling of being hurt, of pain. Okay? It's easier to distance themselves and say, well, it's not my war, it's being fought somewhere far, and that's it. And it doesn't concern me, and I don't want to talk about that. That's what they did for 3.5 years. And now that war came to their houses, homes, and said, no, no, come here. You can't ignore me anymore. And then they said, well, okay, it's the enemies, it's the others, it's not us. We can't be wrong. I can't be responsible. I can't pay for it in the future. Okay? They can't judge me. It must be the bad guys. Who are the bad guys? There's plenty. The Brits, certainly bad guys, you know. Anglichanka гадит. That's what they have said for decades, for hundreds of years now. You know, it's the evil Americans. It's Donald Trump. Oh, he's gone mad. He's gone mad. It's totally lost it. Lost his marbles. Used to be a normal guy 9 months ago. Used to call Putin, you know. Used to invited Putin. And now look at him. He's crazy. His health is failing, you know. Who else? I don't know, the Central Asian countries. Oh, we must take them because they're pretending to be neutral, but you can't be neutral. That's what Solovyov said. You can't be neutral these days. No, I'm sorry, Dugin. Dugin said that. So you're either with us or against us. Things like that. Sorry, a little got carried away. Marvin, guten Abend. Guten Abend. Billy Bob Joe from Aviation Dayton, Ohio, USA. Kevin, economic professor Constant, thank you. I'm not economic professor, unfortunately, perhaps fortunately, I don't know, but thank you. Kevin Dunlop, Iowa. If Russia accepts its new reality, will it become a hermit kingdom like North Korea? There's a possibility. There is a possibility. I'm watching in amazement how people can forfeit their memories. I mean, they traveled outside Russia. They know how wonderful life is outside. How can they forget that? How can they lose freedom? How they can lose control over what they read, what they choose to buy? How do they give it up to the state? Why? So this is a possibility. Okay, I still believe that right now Russia is on the verge. Well, it's already in the political instability, and I believe that in order for Russia to become a hermit kingdom like North Korea, Putin needs political stability for years, perhaps decades. Well, first of all, I don't believe Putin has decades. Second, I know that there is political instability because Russia is a large country and a lot of power groups. And Putin, he did not build his power on terror like Stalin did, okay? He built it on cultivating different clans of his friends and making sure that he was above the clans, the arbiter, the judge. And he made sure that none of the clans got very strong to take on other clans. That's how Putin has ruled for past 25 years. But that system starts failing him, okay? One clan, the KGB, is becoming more powerful. Now, we're seeing the places of instability, political instability. Chechnya comes to mind. What's going on in Chechnya is it's being shaken politically, okay? Those provinces of Russia that don't have electricity or heat, It's really hard when you're freezing. If you when you some of your neighbors freeze to death. It's really hard. It's hard to keep political stability in these provinces, and quite a few of them. I will speak of them probably tomorrow. Okay, so please keep on tuning in, and definitely tune in tomorrow, because a lot of political instability happening right now, and it's not because of political protesting, economic protesting, failure of utilities. As it turns out, it works just like political dissent. Okay. John McLean, is this approach making Russia stagnate similar to? Okay, so I already answered that. Serviceman TO, sending my love to Slovakia. The country my dad absolutely loved. He spent 8 months or 9 months in Banska Bystrica, near Zvolin. And then, because he spent 9 months there, 20 years later, he felt so bad about the whole thing with military that he moved to Prague. He built a church there, and he preached at the church, and he was the caretaker of the church for 10 years. So he your country is definitely dear to me through my dad. Pinda the Peanut, howdy. Mr. Steihofer, Mark from Germany. Okay. Mark. It's much easier. You're right. Buenos Aires, Argentina. Wow. Gabriel Borelli. That's a very long distance from here. Thank you for coming. It's fantastic to see. This is what I love it. Thank you, friends. When you put in your where you're watching this from, imagine I close my eyes and I see this globe, map of the globe of the Earth, and I know my geography very well because when I was in like third grade, my dad bought me a huge map, political map, with countries different colors, and he put it. It's like huge, literally, and he put it, right in front of me, and I, anywhere I looked, I would just look at that map, and Dad would test me on countries and capitals of countries, and I think by the age of 11, I knew all the capitals. So I close my eyes and I know exactly where your country is. Well, for exceptions, of course, but Argentina, huge, down south, to in the west, and it just gives me chills. I love that. Thank you very much, and I'm sending my love to Argentina. Rolf, would a USA invasion of Iran affect Russia? Very much so. Yes, it would. Grimsby. Katrina Ferry from Grimsby. Thank you very much, Grimsby. Could you please pinpoint, give more information on Grimsby? Brussels. Good question from his name is it's really hard to pronounce the handle. Kress Mirvisban. Kress. Can I call you Kress? What is the financial situation of Russian Premier League football clubs? Russian football, professional football, was never about making profit. It was about image. It was about Russia having a professional league, football league. It was about spending money, not making money. So I don't follow, but my bet is everything is catastrophic. You know what? good idea. I will think of making a live stream about the current state of professional sport in Russia. I think that's something that would be interesting. Thank you for giving me the idea. Let me make a note of that. Thank you, Chris. Is Russian Empire dying? Florin, Dimitru, I made a live stream about exactly that. I believe it was on Thursday. Go and check it out. Russian Empire is dying, and there are signs of that. Okay, please, I have a message explaining just that. Arndt, some time ago you mentioned that the one outcome of the current situation might be turning into a new kind of North Korea. Is it the beginning? Well, I've tried to answer this question already. It is a possibility. I think that if Putin had political stability, he was like Stalin, he would actually make Russia into North Korea. But he's not going to last that long. And Russia is shaking right now. You cannot turn a country that's politically shaking and one clan is trying to destroy another clan into North Korea. Look at North Korea. It's political stillness. Okay, there's one leader and this is it. That's Joseph Stalin territory. Definitely not Vladimir Putin. So at this point, I think he doesn't have time to do that. Will the high inflation first half of January speed up your prediction of double devaluation? Johnny, this is a very tricky question. Now I'm thinking about that, and I actually am going to downgrade my prediction of ruble devaluation. Why? Because inflation is galloping right now. It's madness. What's happened in the first 3 months of February, it's madness, just as I predicted. But now, they kept Russian ruble strong enough at about 80 rubles per dollar mark because they wanted to keep the inflation down. And yes, they have a huge deficit gap right now. And obviously, they can devalue ruble and fill the gap. But if they do that now, that their galloping out of control inflation will double. Okay, so I think they are afraid of devaluing ruble now because they know the economic effect would be devastating. Okay, before it would be acceptable, but now it would be absolutely not. And I'll speak much of it this coming Wednesday and Wednesdays after. So please tune in to the economic review. The epoch of stagnation, the epoch of still stagnation. Well, you could say that, yeah. Romka. Epocha zastoya, to be exact in Russian. Craig Hughes, Hamburg Declaration. Yes, I'm aware. Access Schweiz. Do you see a realistic way for the Russian society to become a somewhat Western society, or to use your vision for the optimal Russian society after this war? Now, I will speak in a metaphor. Phoenix must burn into ashes before it can be reborn. Once it's reborn, yes, there is a possibility, of course. Russians are humans after all. They have hearts, they have love in their hearts, at least some. They're humans. They're not aliens. It is possible. But you know what? It's going to be hell of a long way for Russian people. And I'm not saying about Russia, because what is Russia? Russia is a bunch of Russian people, right? And if Russians people come out and say, you know what? We have our eyes open. We feel responsible. Please forgive us. We'll try to make things right. We're gonna pay for this. We're gonna help you rebuild. We're gonna, we really feel bad. We feel empathy and things like that. That would be the first step, accepting responsibility. The second step would be repenting. When I see those first two steps Russians make, I will say, okay, perhaps there is hope for Russia, perhaps for Russians, perhaps this is the beginning of something good. Now I'm seeing Russians drift far and far from taking responsibility, accepting, and repenting. So that's your answer. That's my answer to you. Philip Mitchell from Salisbury, UK. Settle down with coffee. English breakfast tea at Uzbekistan midnight. Rumble is not using. Lorna, I didn't see the conversation, but I take it someone suggesting to go to Rumble. I won't. I won't. The Rumble is just. It doesn't have YouTube algorithm. It does not. It's just a storage for videos. Basically, that's what it is. Tommy, what will come after Putin? Is there any hope, and how this could be reborn? I just literally a minute ago I explained it. Bavaria, Marie, Jeannie Dicroix. I'm very sorry about mispronouncing names. And I see time is coming up. Thank you very much. Just one question and we'll be done. HR Rooney, howdy, long time no see. Good to see you, friend. Jonal Beckman from the USA. Ayada, Nigeria here. Thank you so much for checking in, and thanks for letting us know where you are from. I gotta make a website, and I gotta have like this big map on the website so people could just put their names or the countries or the places on the map, and then we would see where they are from. I think that'd be absolutely fantastic. Andreas Benz watching me on my sofa in front of my TV. Good. Okay. Norway. All right, friends. Finishing up. Thank you very much for joining me. It's an incredibly important message for me, and I think for everyone to know where Russia is heading to. We know the direction before they even announce us after today's live stream. So thank you all for coming. Don't sign off yet. I invite everyone to join me at the live stream prayer. We have 1,600 people right now, so it's a quite large church, size of a large church or a small stadium. So this is fantastic. Please join me and let's pray. And if you're not religious, let's just come along with us and send good wishes to people. That works too. To me, it's all the same. Thank you very much. Now, dear Lord Jesus Christ, thank you so much for giving us this day. Thank you for putting food on our tables and giving us roofs over our heads. Thank you for all love in our lives. Please give us wisdom to keep the skies above our children's heads peaceful, clear, and safe. Please give us wisdom to raise our children so when they grow up and become adults, they will never fight in any war and we'll just make this world a better place. And for now, please have keep our children safe and healthy. Dear Lord, I am asking you to help stop the bloodshed in Ukraine. The country has suffered so much, and people have had enough. People need peace, people need happiness, people need healing. Help every single Ukrainian who has been affected by this terrible tragedy. Answer the prayers and make their wishes come true. And dear Lord, I'm asking for my country, Russia. It's been hijacked by a bunch of demons who we know by their names and by their faces. And I am asking you to get your strongest angels with sharpest swords and have Saint Michael in shining armor lead that army down to this earth and get rid of all the demons who have hijacked Russia, and send your great angels to help good Russian people to run their country so it is peaceful, loving, and respecting in the future. Please help everyone who is traveling, send them safe travels. Help everyone who is in danger of any kind, send them safety. Help those who are asking for asylum of any kind. Help those who are helping Ukrainians, and help those Ukrainians who are under attack currently from Russian weapon. Send everyone safety. And I'm also asking for single mothers and fathers who are struggling, trying to make ends meet, raising their children. Send help and relief. I am also asking for everyone who is sick, hungry, addicted, cold, homeless, jobless, going through divorce, unable to see children as much as they can, crying, whose heart's bleeding, who are in pain, who are receiving bad news now or are to receive bad news soon, who are feeling abandoned, lonely, alone, who are just not well in general. Dear Lord, please reach out and touch the heart of every single person in need. Fill their hearts with love and show them that you're still with them. Still follow every step they make, still love them, still care for them, and still help them. Please help everyone in need. Dear Lord, I am asking you to, I'm thanking you for all these 1,500 people who are praying along with me or simply watching us pray, which is also good. And I'm very grateful for this community, for everyone who is praying along with me. And I am asking for everyone who is praying, please answer their prayers and make their wishes come true. Dear Lord, I have quite a few people here on my list, and there are so many members of Inside Russia community who need your help. And they are Ron Gravel's son, mother, and daughter, Jack Hoffman, Eric, Todd Kent, Cheryl Buss, David Bowen, Bob Ron Bazoid, Teresa, Jeff, Karsten, Rose Bronicky, Nelson Bandela, Ray, Rachel, Anita, Lee and Brenda, Pamela J, Uli Yun, Victor Garishan, Bridget, Rod, Helen, TMBC, Larry Barth, Tony, Helen, Ann Larson, Hannah, Jeffrey S., his family, and everyone in Minnesota, Catherine, Katarina, Mark, Tom W., J.R. McKim, Gabin with Gary, Lisa, Harry, Terry, John, Linda, Paula W., Dennis, Jason, Susie, Tim, Dory, Rhonda, John, Taylor, Wayne, Dave, Darla, George, Ruberty, Pamela, Meta, Spencer, David Porter, and everyone who is in Chernovtsi and David Porter's family. Life, Randolph, Grace, Dean Spooner and his church, Yelena, Natasha, Michael, Jake, Tatiana, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Svetlana, Sergey, Ron, Liz, Koshkin Dom, Sandra, Mike and Mike, Petra, Jodes, Rames, Millie, Philip Radcliffe, Eileen, Highwayman, Derek Martinez, who's suffering from alcoholism, Janice Burgess, Jeff Gibson, Denise Abbott, and Renate. Thank you so much, dear Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Thank you, friends. Thank you for hearing my message. Thank you for participating, talking to me and to the members of community, and thank you for praying. 1,400 people prayed. Thank you very much. I would like to remind you that you are awesome and you rock, and I want to see you every single day for the rest of my life. So let's keep on doing this. Tomorrow there's a message. It's going to be important, okay? I'm still working on it, but it's going to be important. And then on Wednesday, please tune in to Wednesday Economic News Review. That's going to be fire. Well, blackouts, really. But we'll talk about that. And before I sign off, I would like to invite you and ask you to do the usual. To say out loud as you can, along with me, the following. Carthago delenda est.